I never thought I'd fall for someone at a coffee shop. I mean, who does that anymore? But that rainy Tuesday morning changed everything. I was running late for work, soaked from head to toe, when I rushed into Mia's corner cafe. The place smelled like fresh espresso and cinnamon. That's when I saw her. She stood behind the counter, wiping down the espresso machine, her dark hair pulled back in a loose bun. She looked tired but beautiful. Not the kind of beauty you see in magazines, the kind that comes from living, from surviving. "Rough morning?" she asked, smiling softly. I nodded, dripping water on the floor. "You could say that." "Double shot cappuccino?" she offered. I looked at her name tag, Elena. "Make it a triple," I said. She laughed. It was warm and real, the kind of laugh that makes you want to hear it again. I came back the next day, and the day after that. Not just for the coffee, for her. We started talking, small things at first. The weather, the terrible traffic, bad customer stories. But then it got deeper. She told me about her daughter, Lily, who was studying architecture. About her late husband, who passed 5 years ago. About how she opened the cafe to keep herself busy, to fight the loneliness. I told her about my boring office job, about how I moved to the city to escape a small town where everyone knew everyone. About how I never really felt like I belonged anywhere. "You belong here," she said one morning, sliding my coffee across the counter. "At least for now." I didn't realize it then, but I was already falling. Weeks passed. Our conversations got longer. She'd stay after closing sometimes, and we'd sit at a corner table, talking until the streetlights flickered on. She told me about her dreams, about wanting to travel, to see Paris, to write a book she'd been putting off for years. "You should do it," I said. "What's stopping you?" She looked at me with those deep brown eyes. "Fear, I guess. Fear that it's too late." "It's never too late," I said. She smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. "You're young, Caleb. You still believe that." One evening, after the cafe closed, it started pouring. I offered to walk her home. She hesitated, then nodded. We walked in silence, side by side, the rain soaking through our jackets. When we reached her building, she stopped and turned to me. "Thank you," she said softly, "for being here, for listening." I looked at her, standing there in the rain, vulnerable and strong at the same time. And I did something I'd been wanting to do for weeks. I leaned in and kissed her. She froze. For a second, I thought I'd ruined everything. But then she kissed me back. Slow, soft, hesitant, like she was afraid it was wrong. When we pulled apart, her eyes were wide, shocked. "Caleb," she whispered, "we can't." "Why not?" I asked. "Because I'm 45 and you're 28, she said. "Because people will talk. Because my daughter—" "I don't care what people think," I said. "Do you?" She looked away. "It's not that simple." But it was, at least for me. The next morning, I went to the cafe as usual. She wasn't behind the counter. Instead, a young girl, maybe 22 or 23, stood there. She looked at me with cold eyes. "You're Caleb, right?" she asked. I nodded. "Yeah. Where's Elena?" "She's not coming in today," the girl said. "I'm Lily, her daughter." My stomach dropped. "She told me about you," Lily continued, her voice sharp. "About what happened last night." I felt the heat rise to my face. "Look, Stay away from my mom," Lily said, cutting me off. "She's been through enough. She doesn't need someone like you messing with her head." "Someone like me?" I asked, my jaw tightening. "A kid who doesn't know what he wants," Lily said. "She's not some experiment, okay? She's my mom, and she deserves better than whatever this is." I stood there, speechless. Before I could respond, Lily turned and walked to the back room, leaving me standing at the counter alone. I didn't go back to the cafe for 3 days. I tried to convince myself Lily was right, that it was a mistake, that Elena and I were too different, that the age gap was too much, that it would never work. But I couldn't stop thinking about her, about the way she laughed, about the way she looked at me like I mattered. On the 4th day, I got a text. "Can we talk? Elena." My heart raced. I replied immediately. "When? Where?" "Tonight, my place, 8 p.m. I showed up at 7:45, my hands shaking. When she opened the door, she looked exhausted, like she hadn't slept in days. "Come in," she said quietly. Her apartment was small but cozy. Pictures of Lily covered the walls. A bookshelf overflowed with novels. A half-finished painting sat on an easel in the corner. "I'm sorry about Lily," she said, sitting on the couch. "She was just trying to protect me." "I get it," I said, sitting across from her. "But I'm not trying to hurt you, Elena." "I know," she said. "But this, whatever this is, it's complicated." "Why does it have to be?" I asked. "Why can't it just be two people who care about each other?" She looked at me, tears welling in her eyes. "Because I'm afraid, Caleb. I'm afraid of what people will say. I'm afraid of disappointing my daughter. I'm afraid of getting hurt again." I moved closer, taking her hand. "I'm afraid too. But I'd rather be afraid with you than safe without you." She broke down then, tears streaming down her face. I pulled her into my arms, holding her as she cried. "I don't know what to do," she whispered. "Then let's figure it out together," I said. We sat there for hours, talking, crying, laughing. By the end of the night, something had shifted. We weren't just two people anymore. We were something more. The next few weeks were hard. Lily refused to speak to her mom. Neighbors started whispering when they saw us together. My friends thought I was crazy. But we didn't care. We were happy. For the first time in a long time, we were both happy. One Saturday morning, Elena woke me up early. "Pack a bag," she said, grinning. "Why?" I asked groggily. "We're going to Paris." I stared at her, half asleep. "What?" "You said it's never too late, right?" she said. "So let's go. Let's stop being afraid." We booked the cheapest tickets we could find and left that night. Paris was everything we dreamed it would be. We walked along the Seine, ate croissants at tiny cafes, got lost in the Louvre. But the best part wasn't the city. It was her. The way she smiled like a kid seeing the world for the first time. The way she held my hand without hesitation. The way she looked at me like I was her whole world. On our last night, we sat on a bench near the Eiffel Tower, watching it light up against the night sky. "Thank you," she said softly. "For what?" I asked. "For reminding me what it feels like to be alive." I kissed her then, under the lights of the Eiffel Tower, not caring who saw. When we got back home, something had changed. Lily was waiting at Elena's apartment. "Mom," she said, her voice breaking. "I'm sorry. I was wrong." Elena hugged her daughter tightly, tears streaming down both their faces. Lily looked at me, her eyes softer now. "I was scared," she said. "Scared of losing her. But I see it now. You make her happy, and that's all that matters." I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. From that day on, things weren't perfect. We still faced judgment. People still talked. But we didn't let it stop us. Because love, real love, isn't about age. It's not about what other people think. It's about finding someone who makes you feel alive. Someone who sees you for who you are and loves you anyway. Elena taught me that. She taught me that it's never too late to start over. That happiness is worth fighting for. That sometimes the best things in life come when you least expect them. And as I sit here now, watching her paint in our small apartment, her hair falling over her shoulders, the sunlight tracing the curve of her smile, I know one thing for certain. I would do it all over again. Every awkward moment, every judgmental stare, every sleepless night. Because she's 45, I'm 28, and I've never been more sure of anything in my life.